The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here with my co-host, husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. We have with us William Kelly, certified residential appraiser with Jack Ruddy Appraisal Services. Hello.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We got you at the last minute and you became available for us, and we so much appreciate that. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors that have been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com. Or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab. See what's going on at Dunmore Corners 24 hours a day. Check the weather. Then there'll be white stuff on there.
No,
we're not going to. I'm not going to say it.
Let's not talk about that.
No.
Check us out on social media. View our listings, search the ML listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com, where we also display all the popular podcast apps that we feature this radio show on. Okay, William Kelly, certified residential appraiser with Jack Ruddy Appraisal Services. Tell me a little bit about who you are, how long you've been appraising property, and so on and so forth, where you go, what you do.
So I am William Kelly, and I was born and raised in Scranton section in town, and I've been appraising real estate since 2003. When I was working at Cinram, a friend of mine was a busy appraiser, and he asked me to come on and be his assistant, and in turn, he would train me to become a certified residential appraiser. So I worked with him for about 10 years, roughly, and then I was licensed by the state in the year 2013. And since 2013, I have worked for Jack Ruddy Appraisal Services, and that's what I'm currently doing right now.
Right. So could you appraise any property? What does certified residential appraiser mean?
Certified residential appraiser can appraise single-family homes, and they can appraise multifamily homes up to 4 units, and I can also appraise land as well.
Can you do a mixed use if most of the building is, say there's a storefront? Because there's a lot of properties like this back in the day, old mom and pop stores, maybe in a neighborhood, zone residential, and they have the store on the first level, maybe have 2 or 3 other units, and it's mostly residential?
No, not for lending. I can't do a mixed use at this point.
No. So what kind of appraiser is needed there?
That would be a general appraiser.
Okay, so there's a difference.
Yeah, they can do over 4 units, and they can also do commercial properties and mixed-use properties.
Okay, so for today's purposes, we're going to talk about certified residential appraisals and you as a certified residential appraiser. So I often find that in real estate, people confuse home inspection and appraisal, and they think it's one and the same, but they're very, very different. And let's break that down for our listeners who may often use that word appraisal or think that the inspection time frame in an agreement of sale actually applies to an appraisal.
I haven't heard the word inspection in a while, and I don't know if you guys as realtors have heard that word a bit. I don't know if they're kind of dying off at this point, but they are totally different. An inspector is more looking at the mechanical systems and the workings of a home. An appraiser is just basically looking at the data, the land, how much land is involved, and then the home, how much of it is living space, and what type of living space, and what type of a school district. So they are definitely of a different color.
Right, but the word inspection could be used in both situations, because when you do a walkthrough and view the property, which you often do. There are some what they call desktop appraisals, right? So some of the lenders use those. But when you do an appraisal, I know you go through the property. You physically walk through the property, which is called an inspection.
Agreed. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And it
Bless
does seem to create a little bit of a conflict in understanding. But yes. And at the same token, as an appraiser, when I am walking through your home or any home out there, I am looking for health and safety items that stick out. Like I don't go in and check all mechanical systems, but if you have an open deck with no railing and there's a fall hazard there, I'm taking note and I'm probably going to be adding that to my appraisal report. And many lenders do expect that type of action on an inspection.
Do you look for different things depending on the type of mortgage?
Yes, FHA is more related to health and safety issues and life of the roof and some of the short-term items. So they do require a more intense inspection of the appraisal. So there's that controversy. But once you start doing that, I feel as though safety is safety.
Right. Okay. And electrical, you're looking often at the...
And paint. And peeling paint.
Yeah, FHA
like
is peeling paint, handrails, it's health and safety in general, broken glass, any type of a fall hazard, all that stuff has got to be bringing light to it. Nowadays, lenders want pictures of everything. Good things, rooms, bathrooms, kitchens, deferred maintenance, they want pictures of it, so there's nowhere to hide. You must bring light to it.
So oftentimes in real estate, we find that sellers think that they have more bedrooms than they actually do, owners of properties, because they may have used a room as such. However, in the appraisal world, there have to be conditions, correct?
Yeah, for a room to be called a bedroom, we would want that room to be above grade, which means any of that level not being into the earth. It's above grade. And there also should be ingress and egress to this room, so in case of an emergency, someone could exit the room in more than one fashion.
What else is needed is it a closet or is it a
window?
window?
Closet is not a necessity, but you need to have a window and an egress.
And heat.
Heat. All rooms should be heated. For FHA, or the home should be able to maintain a certain degrees.
A certain temperature?
If it could maintain a certain temperature, sometimes they'll waive the fact that there's no heat in the room.
All right, so you're there for a half hour. How do you know whether it maintains a good temperature? It's your call, right?
It's kind of my call, yes. Yeah, we look at the systems and how they operate and then what year the house was built and what it feels like.
Okay.
Where I grew up in Brooklyn, it was like a railroad flat. So it was a long, narrow apartment. My bedroom was in the middle, and it was next to the dining room. So it was kind of open, but there were pocket doors that closed, and there was a closet. There was no windows, but there was one way. It was almost like a walkthrough, but it really wasn't a walkthrough because there was also a hallway. But there was no heat. So I'm thinking, wow, would this have been appraised as a bedroom, where I grew up?
Yeah, a lot of they call those bumper car type styles. A lot of people bring up that term to appraisals, but the standards have changed and are forever changing now. There's a lot of light being brought to ceiling heights and whatnot nowadays. ANSI standards for measuring a home. Homes that were built for minor homes in Lackawanna, Luzerne County back in the day, these homes are not up to standards on what construction codes would be today. It's not uncommon to find a home with a under 7 feet ceiling and being improved and being a functional home, but yet it's not really something they could lend money on today. So you have to be aware of ANSI standards for measuring homes.
ANSI, ANSI,
yes.
Not ANT-C.
Yeah, no, it's not ANSI, it's ANSI.
No, yeah. So if you're going to, where do you get the value of the home? I mean, do you
well, sometimes if that's the case.
We don't go to Zillow, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, the value of the home is a methodology that I use that, as much as I'd like to say I ride around and I just throw values on home or just, okay, this is worth this and this is worth that, it's really extracted from what the market participants pay for the houses leading up to that particular sale. So there's a process of me going in to find comparable sales, and that's what indicates the value of the subject property, along with the features and the amenities of the home.
I love it when somebody says, well, the guy up the block got $500,000 for his home. I want $500,000. Well, his was 5 bedrooms and 4 baths, and yours is 2 bedrooms. We're not comparing apples to apples. So.
And Formica versus granite.
Oh, yeah, Formica. Yeah, everybody loves orange Formica.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of differences that factor into this. And, when you were talking about the bedrooms, there's a lot of times people pull the heat from a bedroom, especially if it's a smaller room that gets really hot. So, and a lot of times the steam radiators, they just pitch those or whatever. So there's a lot of bedrooms that people use that just don't have a heat source.
Yeah, but you would think that would be an easy fix. It is 2024. You can probably get a wall unit up at Lowe's or Home Depot and get that on in the room
right.
under $200 and under an hour of your time and almost make it livable again.
Right. If they're going to sell the home, remove that obstacle is what you're saying.
Yes.
Because it could be very much an obstacle.
Yes.
In terms of if a buyer is financing the property with certain types of mortgages.
Yeah, I believe that FHA mortgages would probably be very common nowadays. If you were to contact a lender for a mortgage, I would like to think that they're utilizing FHA a lot.
Well, in COVID, through the COVID years, the FHAs were falling off, and so they were few and far between, but they're making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're right. And so when you appraise properties and you're assigning values to certain amenities, do you use just blanket values for whatever school district you're in?
No, I don't use blanket values for things of that nature. I extract data, historic data from the MLS over time, and I look at what buyers or market participants is another word for buyers have paid for these type of features over the years. So in an example, if you had a typical Lackawanna County home, 2-story, 6 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and they had a detached garage, maybe those garage bays were worth, say, $4,000 on an appraisal per door. And now if you had a home that might have been built in the last 10 or 15 years and you're into a whole different category, the garages are different, and maybe those doors are going to be worth, say, $8,000 to $12,000 a door. It's just based on what people are willing to pay and how much they need to have this feature.
Okay, that makes sense to me. However, there's people that I know follow real estate very closely, especially in our area. And they look at the home source and they're on Zillow and they really, really enjoy watching what homes are listed for, sell for. And so a little bit of knowledge out there, right? So if someone's in a neighborhood where there's a different style homes that make up the area. So you have some ranches, bi-levels, 2 stories. Some are new, some are older. Does that ranch, if it sells at a value, affect overall the value of this 2-story if they want to sell?
I would have to say no on that. So the appraisal process for me when I'm trying to derive a value, it boils down to apples with apples. So if I'm looking at a 2-story colonial home that's 2,600 square feet, and that ranch that you bring up is down the road, was built newer, it might be a 1,200 or 1,300 square foot ranch. It doesn't really come into my search parameters to extract the market data for that 2,600 square foot home.
Okay, so you wouldn't even consider it?
Probably wouldn't consider it. Wouldn't fall into the search parameters that I utilize to get my values.
So everything you do is backed up by a lot of research and statistics and numbers and past values.
And he knows the neighborhoods. He knows values. I mean, there's little differences. Like, this more better than anybody. You go down certain neighborhoods that are maybe 8 blocks from us are worth a lot more than something up the hill, say in the Hollywood section of Dunmore, a comparable home. Bill knows this. Bill has got the experience. That's just what you're paying for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
But how often do you disappoint realtors, agents, or owners. I mean,
I'm not sure. I turned that feature off on my email.
Yeah, and I would, so right. So here's from the real estate perspective, and I'm with you because I understand that if I have a property and I have 10 different appraisers go through it, there can be 10 different values that come into me, right?
Absolutely.
It's not an exact science.
Nope.
And so you all do it differently. You look at it differently, you do it differently. And so, and as a realtor, I would often have discussions with appraisers. And when I did a CMA and my value was different than the comparison approach, where I'm looking at properties that have sold, similar style, similar neighborhoods.
It's very appraisal-like to do a CMA.
Right.
It's some type of a small nephew of a search that I would do.
Well, I don't have, but as I'm not an appraiser, people often think I am. You are our appraiser at Jack Ruddy Appraisal Company. You are a certified residential appraiser. My dad was an appraiser. I took all the courses. It didn't interest me. Let's just put it that way. I didn't care to take that on. I have enough to do. So anyway, that's where you come in. But I would often have these discussions with an appraiser, and they would think I was out of my mind at how I calculated my adjustments in my CMAs. But typically, we would come very close to one another with our values, and it's just the way it happens, I guess. But so getting back to what you do, there's people that I'm sure sometimes are disappointed, and they think that they have a higher value property than what you're coming in at, and so I have to say that data doesn't lie.
Exactly. The data doesn't lie. Now, if you have a home that's transferred in the last, say, 5 or 10 years, or your home has a lot of transfer history, if it just happens to be a house that sells a lot, those so-called data engines out there, such as Zestimates, they can be fairly accurate. But that might be all they are, is fairly accurate. But if there's no history on your house, they're not going to be accurate.
Yeah, those automated valuation systems they cause a lot of trouble and angst amongst my peers. I'm sure for you.
Yeah, they're gaining strength, though. They're getting stronger and stronger all the time.
And they are, right. I understand that. And unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. Everybody wants to hop on a computer and put in an address and get the number on what their home is or properties are worth. And it's just not the real world.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay, so what influenced home value? Market trends, you look at the neighborhood, and home features.
Pretty much, yep.
Okay. Common misconceptions about appraisals.
They are nice guys, no matter what anybody says. They are humans.
A lot of people might have, say, finished basements, would say bedrooms or bathrooms down there, and they would get into, they think their fifth bedroom in the basement or their second or third bathroom in the basement is a bedroom or a bathroom. I mean, there's a way it gets value on a standard URA form is what appraisers use to report the value. It does get value, but it doesn't get the same value as the space above ground, GLA it's termed as, gross living area. That's all space above the earth completely, that level.
All right, so say you have, because we just had this situation in our office, say you have a house, and oftentimes this is the case. You go to the lower level, and 75% of that lower level is above grade, but 25% isn't.
So to an appraiser, 100% of that level isn't.
Right.
Because you are in the earth and you are below grade.
Even though a majority of it is above grade.
That's right. Now,
no
you can
dispute.
value those rooms down there, that square footage down there, and if you're a good appraiser, you can find a way to value it properly, but it's not going to be considered GLA, and it's not going to go into the main room count of the subject property.
Right. And guess who has to explain this to people?
I'm thinking that might be you.
Yes. Yes, it is. So we're often on the hot seat, but you heard it right here from our residential certified appraiser, William Kelly, also known as Bill Kelly, of Jack Ruddy Appraisal Services. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
They could reach me at 570-471-3204. They could reach me at 570-344-6724. They could reach me at WKELLY312@Comcast.net for any of their appraisal inquiries.
Thank you, Bill. Pat?
Yes, we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home at 113 Coppernick Street in Troop for $230,000. This home has a possible 3rd bedroom on the main floor. This home sits on a large corner lot. It's got very low troop taxes of only $1,500 a year. This home has hardwood floors, a 1-car garage. It's got a large concrete parking pad in the rear for an additional 3 cars. And this home is part of an estate and is being sold as in condition. That's a 1,500 square foot home with 2 bedrooms and 2 baths at 113 Coppernick Street in Troop for $230,000. And that's listed by Stacy Granza of our office.
Thank you, Pat. We'd like to thank our special sponsor this week, Compass Health Systems. They are a locally owned organization dedicated to offering a wide range of services for individuals in the Northeast PA area. Their offerings include personalized behavioral health support, educational services, early intervention, as well as occupational, physical, and speech therapy for individuals from infancy to adulthood with unique needs. They aim to empower positive outcomes one person at a time. Currently, they provide in-person services in Lackawanna, Susquehanna, Wayne, Carbon, Monroe, and Pike counties, along with virtual services available statewide. If you or your child would benefit from their services, visit compass-health.org or call 570-280-2800. Additionally, Compass Health Systems is actively hiring in-person and virtual positions, including BCBAs, licensed behavior specialists, behavioral health technicians, instructional assistants, direct support professionals, occupational, physical, and speech therapists, plus more. Visit compass-health.org/careers or call 570-280-2800. Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. We'll be back after a very brief break on 94.3 FM The Talker. Are you ready to make your next move in the world of real estate? Look no further than Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, your trusted partner in buying and selling homes. If you're a homeowner looking to sell, Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate will ensure you get the best possible price in today's competitive market. And if you're in the market to buy your dream home, Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate will help you find the perfect place to call your own.
Congratulations.
We've adopted the popular saying, an educated consumer is our best customer. That's why since 2010, we've hosted the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 The Talker. Visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com or call 570-344-6724. Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, where dreams find their address. You are rejoining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney.
And we're back.
I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. And we have with us William Kelly, certified residential appraiser with John Ruddy Appraisal Services.
Hello, Jackie.
Hello. Okay, so the first half, we've really laid the groundwork for certified residential appraisals and what you do and how you do it, how you look at things. There's something that's been coming up repeatedly lately, and I really like to hear your take on this. Oftentimes, we go into a home that is a single-family home that was once a two-family home, and the owners did not take out the second kitchen. That could be on the second floor or on the first floor, wherever, however the layout was on the 2-unit, right? So you know what happens, right?
I would think you're probably leaning towards the loan.
Yes.
So
if there's financing involved, the bank does not want to know, see, hear that there is a second kitchen if they're going for a mortgage to reside in this house as a single-family home. This causes a lot of problems.
Yes, it's not uncommon that people will take 2 units and then make them a single. It's not uncommon that they might keep the mother or the mother-in-law upstairs with their own little kitchenette kind of thing, or on the other side with that feature. I believe it's going to be more common to have multi-generations in homes in the near future, and I think it's by bringing light to it, it can work. As long as it's all bringing light to it and explaining exactly what's there, whether it is a 2-unit or whether it is a single. It's the appraiser's expectations to bring all that information to the lender the most clearest way possible.
Right. So can there be any accommodations made in that appraisal that would allow the lender to finance this deal? Because sometimes they don't and they won't because of that second kitchen.
Sometimes you call it an accessory dwelling unit, ADU. Sometimes you call it an in-law suite. It's not uncommon for these type features to be in the basement. Anytime you run into features of this type or challenges of this type, what lenders like is 1 to 2 comparable sales similar to that.
Okay.
So maybe as you're prepping this listing to come in, you kind of look for homes that would have this type of feature that have maybe closed. Whether it was closed with cash or financing is, I don't know, but it's nice to have some comparable ideas in your head.
Okay. Because a lot of times this can cause some grief for all involved when that second kitchen is there. And you're right. There oftentimes the older homes in our area had kitchens in the lower level. That never seemed to be a problem. But certain ethnic backgrounds did like to do cooking, especially in the summer months in the lower level because
it's
kitchens,
cooler.
Yeah, it's cooler. So, and a lot of people did that, but there was never a problem with an appraiser coming back and saying about that second kitchen in the lower level. But all of a sudden, on a single family home in Scranton, Dunmore, and the kitchen's on the second floor, there's a second kitchen on the first floor, there's been issues. And it's been causing some anxiety and fall-throughs.
For it to actually be considered a living unit, the living unit must have separate cooking and bath facilities. So sometimes it's just panic in general.
Okay.
So if it did have the separate cooking facilities, maybe it's not. Still, it's going to qualify as a single family. It could, but if it has the separate cooking and separate bath facilities, now is when the lender is definitely going to recoil and say it's some type of a second unit or an ADU.
Well, that's what they're trying to prevent, that somebody throws up a wall and starts renting it out, right? So,
yes.
Right. So that, and I get that. And I really do understand and appreciate that perspective. But a lot of times when we go into a property and we see this, we're advising the clients to maybe pull any kind of appliances.
Kitchen sinks be pulled is a good thing. Make it look like an ironing room or something of that nature.
A laundry room, perfect.
Long as there's not a second range or oven in there. And
table and
sink.
chairs.
Yeah,
right. So, yeah.
It's usually the cooking facilities and the bath facilities that cause the alarm for appraisers.
Thank you, Bill.
You're
William
welcome.
Kelly, certified residential appraiser, John Ruddy Appraisal Services. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
They can contact me by calling my office at 570-471-3204. I can be contacted by calling John A. Ruddy Appraisal Services at 570-344-6724. And you can contact me via email at wkelly, Kelly, 312@comcast.net.
And you're coming back next week, right?
I will be back next week.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes. Are you looking for a winter project? Well, we have it for you. It's a 3-bedroom home at 61 Johnson Street in Wilkes-Barre for only $125,000. This home has a brand new roof and windows already installed. It's completely gutted down to the studs and it needs to be finished. This is perfect for the investor. It's got taxes of only $1,700 a year. This could be your big opportunity. That's a gutted 3-bedroom home with a new roof and windows at 61 Johnson Street in Wilkes-Barre for only $125,000, and that's listed by James Caceres of our office.
Join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate, and 94.3 The Talker.